Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna, this is my mom Gina.
He is a journalist?
He's the enthusiast.
Oh, I'm so enthusiastic to talk about the Cavaliers.
Well,
that's called sarcasm.
I was about to say, I'm definitely not, because it's done. The
they lost.
Finals is over.
They lost.
The Golden State Warriors
they
won.
lost.
We can move on from this train.
Except that I feel like the Cavs are so starved for attention, they are going to find a way to be the lead story on anybody's sports thing anytime. So here's some mess. So let's talk about the mess.
Okay, well, honestly, it's to be expected at this point in time. If anyone's actually surprised, then you didn't watch the NBA season and you really weren't paying attention, because the Cleveland Cavaliers were in disarray from the very beginning, okay? LeBron James was sitting out of games at the beginning part of the year. Now, again, some people are like, oh, it doesn't really matter because it's the beginning part of the year. Okay, well, that's fine, but people are paying tickets to see him. Tyronn Lue was sitting, Kyrie Irving and Kevin
Didn't even
Love.
travel them to Memphis.
They were in the headlines, exactly.
The Big Three didn't even get on the plane to go to Memphis.
Like game 2 or 3, they didn't even go. And so it's like they've been in the headlines from the start on things like that.
Yep.
So it's one of those situations where you got to say, okay, well, we can move on from that. Then it was LeBron James complaining about not having enough help. We're too top heavy. Okay, then it went from that to our front office isn't spending enough money on players, even though they have the highest payroll in the league. And then it was, okay, LeBron James is back to being on his own again. He's sitting at the end of the bench. And
he's tough. He's a football player. His team isn't tough.
Exactly. And then all this stuff about he separated himself after they got Darren Williams, Kyle Korver, Bogut. Obviously, he got hurt right away, but they made moves to make sure that the Cavs were loaded and ready for the finals. You can say whatever you want to about how they performed, but they made moves necessary to make sure that they were ready. And then you talk about how they actually finished the regular season. They coasted the whole way. They finished 22nd or 23rd in overall defense.
Gave up the number 1 seed.
Gave up the number 1 overall seed in the East, which doesn't make any sense. And then they were the number 2 seed to the Boston Celtics. And then they cakewalked their way through the East, because the East, as we like to call it, the West. And so now you get to the NBA Finals, and it's basically a sweep. They lose.
They had what you'd call a gentleman's sweep.
Exactly.
Their back was against the wall, so they came out swinging, on Friday night, just to ruin everybody's Monday night bachelorette watching party.
Right. There were more people upset about not seeing the bachelorette.
Exactly.
Because they knew the Golden State Warriors
were going to win.
So it ended up being a 4-1 series. Golden State, congratulations to them. But with that ending, you knew there were going to be some things happening up there in Cleveland, and the roster getting blown up. And it didn't even happen with the roster yet. It started with the front office.
Yeah, right. We haven't even got to the roster.
Didn't even get the roster.
I got a new name for you. You know how he said Kevin Durant has nankles? Yes. I got a new word. It's not Cleveland Cavaliers. It's Cleveland Dramaleers.
These
are the Dramaleers.
There you go.
That's exactly what, because it's drama, right. And now here's some more drama.
It's drama, and that's what they've been all year. And that was just in a nutshell of some of the things that took place that really made the
We haven't even got to them kicking people off the team yet, because that's going to happen.
Exactly. So David Griffin is the GM, or he was the GM. He came on in 2014, right before LeBron came back, and it was one of those situations where, hey, this is a new guy. He understands numbers. He's good at
analytics.
Analytics. And this is a new wave, bringing in LeBron James, and that made the money that they needed to make. And they got Kyrie riding shotgun. They made the trade for Kevin Love.
They brought in Kevin Love.
They let go of Deion Waiters and a couple other guys. They kept Tristan Thompson.
Brought in J.R.
Smith and Iman Shumpert from the Knicks. A lot of good. This was him making these moves to help out LeBron.
Exactly. And the way that goes, the GM, this is his job. I mean, it really is. And by the way, he was part of firing David Blatt in the middle of the season last year to promote Tyronn Lue.
And that's fine. Ty Lue's a great coach.
Oh, we love Ty.
He's well-deserved for all the things that he's been doing. And so it was a great promotion and a good move overall, because they got a championship out of it. But David Griffin is the one that was really the person.
Yeah, he was the architect of these moves.
Right, exactly.
Dude, they brought in Andrew Bogut at the end of the season, right before playoffs, because LeBron was crying about, we don't have a rim blocker, blah, blah, blah.
No
now,
bigs,
unfortunately, Bogut got hurt after 59 seconds on the floor. But the point was David Griffin still made that happen.
Exactly. Well, again, we were talking about the roster moves or having that get destroyed because of the season, and everyone's saying that, oh, there's no way that this roster will stay together. Well, again, we didn't even get to the roster. We're talking about the front office.
Right.
And David Griffin is now out. The replacement, as rumors are saying, is that it could be Chauncey Billups.
Yes.
Chauncey Billups.
From the Detroit Pistons, one of the bad boys.
Hall of Fame. Mr. Big Shot is his nickname. He's a Hall of Fame point guard. Played at Colorado, Big 12
guy.
When Colorado was in the Big 12. He is in good with Dan Gilbert, who has some businesses in Detroit.
Detroit, right.
Has some financial businesses in Detroit, so he's good friends with him and Tyronn Lue. And so therefore there's some talks about maybe Chauncey Billups taking over in that role. We will see. There's a lot going on as the front office is trying to play Red Rover.
Here's the thing. I don't know Dan Gilbert from the boy next door. I really don't. Well, I do know the boy next door, but I don't know him from anybody else. Okay? But I do know this, that David Griffin, who all those things you just outlined that he did, he was making about $2 million a year, which is good money. It's a lot of money. People out here living on $24,000 a year. Okay, right. I'll take half of that in cash.
Yes.
But he was still making about half of what other GMs in the league were making.
Right.
To have a team that went to back-to-back finals.
Right.
Who had the guy that was the architect of building the team around LeBron.
Correct.
He's making half. And I guess the rumors are, this is rumors, again, the drama leers, was that David and Dan Gilbert, were fighting all the time.
Yes.
Dan Gilbert didn't like him. He didn't like his decisions. And then, even though LeBron came out and tweeted that, you know, lots of support for David, LeBron did call him out earlier in the season.
He did. LeBron was calling everybody out.
And supposedly LeBron wasn't consulted on this move. He was told. I don't buy that either, because I don't think Dan Gilbert's doing anything without consulting LeBron. That's my opinion, but I don't think so.
I'm not a huge fan of Dan Gilbert because he was a huge reason why LeBron left in the first place.
Tell the truth.
He threw a tantrum the entire way until LeBron decided to come back, and he still hasn't handled himself appropriately in my mind. That's just my own opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Dan Gilbert. I wouldn't play for him if he owned a team. But hey,
well, because if you left, he'd write a terrible, nasty letter, put it on the internet, and leave it up every day for 4 years until 3 days before you come back. So yeah, I wouldn't play for him
I'm not a huge fan of him, but it is what it is. With that in mind, as we do try to talk about some roster moves, there are some free agents out there that could really make an impact on a lot of NBA teams right now. Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Pau Gasol. The list really goes on. And then you have the NBA draft, which takes place on Thursday. And there are some moves that took place within the Sixers and the Celtics as they swapped from third to first.
So the 76ers now have the first
number one pick, exactly, and the Celtics have the number 3 pick with extra picks. And there are some really good young talent right now. Now, not the Cavs don't really have anything to do with those first guys, but that could shake up on how some of the chips fall.
Well, the thing with Paul George is he's got 1 year left on his contract with the Pacers, but then he's an unrestricted free agent.
Correct.
So a lot of people are saying, look, if you're the Pacers, you should try to trade Paul George now while you can get something for him.
Which is what the Celtics are trying to maybe do.
Because next year he's going to leave and you get nothing. He's just out the door.
He's trying to go back home to L.A.
He is. But I'm thinking if you're the Cavaliers, wouldn't you want to do like rent a Paul for a year? Because you know he's only going to stay for a year. He's going to become an unrestricted free agent and wants to go to L.A. But if you're really trying to attack the Warriors, the super team, wouldn't you trade out something right now to get Paul George for his 1 year?
Yeah, I mean, I think he would definitely help your roster. The thing about him and LeBron is that they play the same position and they're similar guys. And so working on their spacing, the Cavs go the way that LeBron goes. And so they're going to have to figure something out. Roster moves do need to be made for Cleveland. Porzingis is also kind of out there as well, as the Knicks are looking to trade him. I think that's a bad move by Phil Jackson. I love Phil, but I would like to keep him.
Phil's had a rough time up by the Knicks.
He's had a real tough time,
so
but
it's not gone
that's the point, is that there are a lot of guys out there that could potentially be with Cleveland. They would have to give up a lot for one of those big guys like a Jimmy Butler or Paul George, but like you said, a rent-a George or a rent-a Butler maybe could be a move that you would want to consider.
Well, I know time's running out, but since we're talking about the Cavs, I'm going to throw you some names. You say keeper. What do you think of their staying or going? J.R. Smith.
Probably gone.
Tristan Thompson.
He may stay.
Kevin Love.
Gone.
Amon Shumpert.
Gone.
Kyrie
will stay.
LeBron.
Stay.
How many years?
I would say one more year.
One more year. I'm with you.
One more year.
By the way, I agree with every one of those.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it is hot out here.
It is. It's time to go.
It's summertime, and so we can only be out here for so long. We want to say we appreciate your time, folks. Our iPad is overheated, as it has been lately.
You never get music at the end. It's just too hot.
We get at the beginning, but not at the end. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Type in my name, Adam Orduna. Continue to like our Facebook page. Check it out. Type in OTD. We've got all of our episodes and a lot of different sports headlines on there. And continue to follow us on Twitter.
Let us know what you think about the Dramaleers.
The Dramaleers,
yes. The Dramaleers.
We'll see you again, folks.